it's Henry again, and this is part 2 of my work in progress for the perfect grade Unicorn Gundam. And first part I got the body painted, and in this part I'm going to be painting the weapons and the giant display base. So I've already got everything all separated out. I've actually started doing a little bit of painting. Got these gunmetal parts painted. Going to be separating the parts out for a few colors instead of having everything just gray. So I'm going to be using gray, light gray, gunmetal, a little bit of silver, and then this weird blue-green color for the B Magnum ammo packs, and then obviously white for the shield. So enough talking, let's get to painting. that everything is finally painted and masked and sprayed and all that, now I'm going in and doing the panel lines. I already did the panel lines on the main body of the unicorn in the first work in progress, and since I'm dividing this project into sections, I figured I'd just record myself doing the panel lines on these. Nothing really special. Not doing really anything other than shading and panel lining to this kit in terms of weathering. So after this will be decals, and the main body and the weapons will be ready for top coat. I am going to do a little bit of weathering on the display base though, because the customer just wanted shading on the Unicorn Gundam but wanted some little bit of weathering on the base, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, it's finally decal day, and like I said earlier, I got a water slide copy of the Master Grade Verka decals. Got these off of eBay from some seller in China, I can't remember who it was, and that's what I'm using for this kit, because I didn't really care for not only the look of the Perfect Grade decals, but also the fact that they were all stickers. So definitely going to want to go with something a little bit higher quality than clear stickers. So same old decal procedure. That one is wanting to be a little difficult, and there we go. Okay, readjust that. Unfortunately, I don't have a Unicorn Verka manual to go by. Kind of wish I did, but I don't have a Unicorn Verka on me. So what I'm having to do is go on my phone. I'm on delong.net, and I'm just looking at the instruction manual in the on his website. This is for Full Armor Unicorn, but the decals are the same as the Verka, so that's how I'm getting my instructions for applying these. Alright, so I am about to start weathering on this display base. As you can see, I've airbrushed it, and I've put a few decals, not really anything serious, just a handful on there to make it look a little bit interesting. And I've mixed up a wash here. This is actually an acrylic wash, just some black and brown paint, and then thinned it out. So I'm just gonna brush this on here with a really big, wide, flat brush. And I'm not really trying to be too awfully like careful or precise or anything with it. It's just going to be an all-over wash, because I really want this thing to look nice and grungy. So I'm just doing a really broad general wash on this thing, and then I'm going to go back and wipe this down, so that way the wash will be left in all the little nooks and crannies and crevices. And the open areas, like, I'll be wiping a lot of the wash away, but you'll still be able to see some streakiness. So that's the general effect I'm going for. And the reason I'm using an acrylic wash, usually I use oil washes, but since this display base is so big, like the oil wash I have is Mr. Weathering color, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of expensive. It's like $8 a bottle. So, and this acrylic paint is like super cheap, so I just thin that out, and I'm using this And for, you know, it's not the actual Gundam, it's just the display base, so I think it'll look perfectly fine. Plus I'm going to be doing some more weathering on top of this. So I think in terms of just the wash, using these cheap acrylic paints will look perfectly fine as opposed to the oil stuff. Alright, so now got a paper towel. I'm just going to wipe this down. I'm going to try and go all in one direction. It's a little like with a robot mobile suit Gundam thing that's standing upright. It's easy to know which way the streaking should go, because you go with the flow of gravity. You go from up to down. But with this thing being flat, it's a little like it doesn't necessarily go straight up and down, but that's just kind of the way I'm doing it right now. Yeah, my paper towel keeps moving around, but you get the idea. So I'm wiping away a lot of the wash, but not all of it. I don't want it all to be gone, because then there'd be no point doing it in the first place. So definitely want to leave some texture and some color variation left behind on this, so it'll look good and dirty. Alright, now that the wash is dry, just doing a bit of chipping, and I'm going with straight silver. Usually I do like a brownish, dark, rusty kind of color for chipping, but since this base is already a pretty dark color, very dark gray, especially after I put the wash on it, I'm going to just go with straight silver for the wash, just so it'll show up better. I mean, I could have gone with like a gunmetal or a stainless steel or something, but for some reason I just felt like silver was the best way to go on this. So just doing some light chipping around the edges, just on the edges of these panels with silver, just to make sure we get some nice scuffs and messed up edges, just to make it look nice and used and worn. Okay, it took me about 2 months to finally get it painted, but the perfect grade Unicorn Gundam is now finally finished. And as you can see, I just did some subtle shading on the armor. Did shading on the inner frame as well. Obviously you can't see that quite as much since it's on the inside. Didn't do anything to the Psycho frame. Just left the Psycho frame the way it was straight out of the box. But overall I'm pretty happy with it. Zoom out a little bit. for the weapons, you can see some of the shading I did on the weapons. Of course, my shading is pretty subtle anyway, so like you can see it a lot better in person than you can on camera. I did some heat change effects on the ends of the gun barrels for the Gatling guns, and also the beam magnum as well. Did some weathering on the display base. Didn't really go too crazy on it, just a wash and some chipping. Added a few decals on it. Let's see if I can do a little rotation here without knocking everything over. See the shield. The shading actually shows up really, really well on the shield. Got the bazooka. I really tried my best to use as many different colors on the weapons as I could, because I think I got 1, 2, 3 different colors on each weapon. Got a warm gray, a neutral gray, and then gunmetal. And then I kind of added a few little silver accents here and there, because otherwise the entire thing literally would have just been gray, because that's the way the plastic was molded. So I definitely wanted to break that up a bit. On the thrusters on the backpack there, you can see some of the heat staining I did on those. Didn't add very much blue on the thrusters. I mainly just used clear brown and clear purple, but I think those still turned out pretty good. So overall, I'm happy with it. Once again, I don't have the LED unit because this was a commission and the person who commissioned it didn't have the LED set, so this guy won't be lighting up, at least not for me anyway. But like I said in the instructions, it has it explains how you can take the kit apart and add LEDs after you've already assembled it. Of course, that'll be kind of tricky with this thing being painted already. So decals turned out good. I think it was my first time using that brand of decals. I'm not sure. I did have a bit of decal silvering in some places that I did have to go back and fix, but it wasn't too big of a hassle, so decals turned out alright. Also, here's something I don't think I've shown off yet in the videos, the little Benager figure. It's a whole lot easier to paint these pilot figures in 1/60th scale with them being a bit bigger than 1/100th or 1/144 scale. So that guy turned out pretty good actually. So I guess that about does it for this work in progress video and this project. And moving on to the next project. So with that, I'll see you guys next time.